Okay. So we should be on stream now.
Hello.
Hey.
Hey, Dongsu.
Oh, so we should be on YouTube?
Yes, we should. I'm trying to verify. Yes.
Yeah, it should be on because it says live streaming is on. Only us could hear it. So like when it's
Yeah.
live, it's no one would hear it.
Okay, perfect. So yeah. Hey, Ben.
Hi, all right.
Hello.
Hello.
Okay, so we can still wait a few more minutes for other folks, and in the meantime, I will update the agenda to share the YouTube link.
Hi.
Hello. All right, so I think we should start. Daniel, do you want to start the meeting, or should I continue?
Just a second. I wanted to also post in Slack.
Okay, thanks. Please go ahead.
All right. Sorry about that. Yeah, welcome to the April's office hours. So how about we start with a short round of introduction? So the way we usually do it is like someone goes and then it just like say someone's name and then the other person introduces himself and yeah, it goes on. I'll start since I was the one to ask for that. So my name is Danielle. I'm a PM for Flatcar. Yeah, I don't know what to say more. So maybe Ben?
Sure. Hi, I'm Ben from Brightbox. We're a hosting company here in the UK. Just joining today because we've started to provide some official images for Flatcar. So just go through some details about that and run through a quick demo of getting a simple cluster up and running on Brightbox. Cool. Move on to Adrian.
Hello, I'm Adrian. I'm from, I work for Cloud-Based Solutions, software engineer. I'm a Flatcar maintainer, and I have quite a lot of experience with Azure and Linux on Hyper-V mostly. Dongsu?
Hi, my name is Dongsu. I'm part of the Flatcar maintainers team and at Microsoft, and usually I work on security tracking and security updates of Flatcar packages. And currently I starting working on the new project like UERS, which is Rust re-implementation of the update engine in Flatcar, and several other Rust-based projects. Next, Simon.
Hi, I'm Simon. I work as an infrastructure engineer for DeepL. We run on-prem Kubernetes clusters, and we increasingly use Flatcar as our base OS for those machines. And that's why I'm here. Let's continue with Jeremy.
Hey, so my name is Jeremy. I am one of the Flatcar maintainers, and I've been doing some fun stuff or contributing some fun stuff to Flatcar that I want to talk about. One of those is the ZFS sysext. Mathieu, did you already introduce yourself?
Not yet. So hi everyone, Mathieu from France. I work as a Flatcar maintainer, mainly working on testing the operating system, providing new test scenario and stuff like that. And yeah, I've been involved in cluster API and other features inside Flatcar. Okay, so I think we didn't forget anyone. Looks good. So yeah, we can continue with the agenda items. So I will continue to talk really quickly. 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, it was the Kubecon in Paris. So a few members of the Flatcar team were around. So Daniel was here and Thilo was here also. So that was a great moment to meet the community, to meet users, and to discuss about further development into Flatcar and see what we should do, what the pain points of users, and what we should do in the next months, in the next years. So that was quite interesting. We also got some great discussion with some providers and people like that to see how we could try to get Flatcar on other platforms. So that was quite interesting. We got the opportunity to give a talk, one about Flatcar, how to get started with Flatcar, the concept of container OS. So it was a talk with someone from Fedora OS. So it was quite interesting to see how we use Ignition and Butane to provision container OS like Flatcar or Fedora OS. So everything is on YouTube if you want to get to have a look. I will update the agenda to link the YouTube links of the talks. And Daniel also was at the KubeCon, and maybe you can talk about your KubeCon experience.
Yeah, so it was like quite an experience because it was my second KubeCon and the first one attending as a speaker. And it was like in 2 events, so it was quite exciting for me. If you want to see me stuttering and feeling very awkward, there are 2 links in the agenda. So one of them is co-chairing now TAG Runtime and Special OS Work Group. So I attended both. The TAG Runtime talk was, we kind of portray all the working groups and the areas in which the runtime is involved, which are quite varied, I have to say, and how you can also get involved. So just like how one can contribute or find himself in the different work groups. And the Special OS work group, panel was about this working group. And we had attendance from big other operating system, container or special purpose operating system. And we kind of defined what is it even, what is the scope. So it was like very interactive and engaging discussion that was going on there. And so there's I would use this opportunity to say, if you're interested in that, then you could definitely join the working group. There's links at the end of the presentation there, but also if you just search for Special OS, Special Purpose OS Working Group, CNCF, you would find all the information there. We kind of finished like doing in the last couple of months introduction of every OS that is part of the working group, and it's kind of open agenda, so you could definitely get involved. And since you are here, so seems like you got interest.
Okay, thanks a lot for summarizing this. If you have any questions, do you have any questions regarding Kubecon or stuff like that? No. Then we can go to the next agenda items, which is about ZFS extension. Jeremy, do you want to talk about this?
Yeah, sure. Let me see if I'm ready. So is it okay if I share screen?
Please try. I don't know if I have to do something to give you
that
the
works. Window.
Yes, perfect.
Yes, I actually have fun. I see what you see. So yeah, something we've been working on in the last year is a thing called systems extensions, or sysext for short. It's a systemd functionality, essentially squashfs images that get overlaid over the running root partition, or in Flatcar's case, the user partition. So it allows you to extend the immutable OS with various components. And so our first focus for this was using it to ship Docker and Containerd, which we traditionally have always shipped as a kind of extension to the base OS. Next focus was shipping static binaries like Kubernetes, kubelet, kubeadm. We have some resources for other sysext that can be built in this way, like WASM runtime, or someone just implemented cryo, and we think that's great. But then there's also another class of software that lends itself to this mechanism that we would like to explore, which is extensions coupled to the OS. So things like additional drivers, additional packages that require a lot of linking to the OS, right? And so as a kind of proof of concept, the first one we tried to implement is ZFS, which is an out-of-tree file system. I'm not going to try to explain ZFS because I also don't know that much, but it's an out-of-tree file system that is kind of like Btrfs and LVM mixed into one, but it has way more administrative kind of functionality built in, decades of stability. Lots of people love it. And yeah, it's not shipped by many Linux distros, but many distros provide ZFS as a DKMS module, so they rebuild it with every kernel update. But we thought we could do one better, which is ship it as a sysext that can be fetched at runtime. And so since we haven't managed to provide any docs yet, and it's only in alpha, I figured we'd demo it. So the way this works is effectively you only have to create this file called enabled sysextconf and write ZFS. There's nothing else that can be fetched. So this is like, we plumbed this through the update stack. And when you write ZFS and your instance reboots, it will try to fetch this module, or it will try to update it together with the Flatcar update mechanism. And what will happen is it will load this extension called Flatcar ZFS, which contains the binaries like ZFS, like zpool, and the kernel modules. And then it's up to you to basically use it to create a systemd service that will use it to format disks, for example, and whatever you need, right? Like so. I don't have a good demo prepared, but I'm here on a VM that has a whole bunch of data disks in addition to the OS disk, and I just created a pool, and I was going to show that you can create this is the equivalent of a RAID 0. So I was going to benchmark and show that you get 4 times the performance of a single disk, but I'm not ready for that because Matthew called me out first. But suffice to say that all the commands that ZFS users work, right? You can create additional volumes if you're sudo, and they will magically appear. ZFS has this functionality of creating block volumes. Let me remember the syntax. Block, yeah, and then you get it somewhere under dev zvol block, right? And you can use it wherever you need disks, additional disks, for example, to pass through to a VM. You can take snapshots, you can roll them back, you can send them from one machine to the next. A classic use case for this, for Flatcar, would be if you have a database server, a database host. People would run that database on ZFS and then replicate it or snapshot it in backups. Once we do have docs, and we have some examples in Cola, which is our test suite, there will be examples of doing things like using ZFS integration in Docker and Containerd, because then you get benefits of, I guess, every container layer gets mapped to a ZFS data set. Other cool things, compression. So I think this is the syntax. ZFS has compression support built in and apparently enabled by default. So you can get more out of your disks. And yeah, that's pretty much all I had to show. You get the experience you would expect, right? So we aim to keep this up to date. We will provide the latest kind of stable ZFS version with every Flatcar version. Users will be able to simply update, and their ZFS modules will be updated as well. And yeah, one day there will be more such sysext. I hope to tackle NVIDIA drivers next. That's the end of the demo. Any questions from anyone in the call? If not, then back to Mathieu, and thanks for your attention.
Thanks a lot. And yeah, for what is worth, I tried the ZFS extension a few days ago with Incus, a sysext extension that is currently in progress, and that works perfectly. So it's, yeah, composable images for the win. All right, let's continue with Adrian, who wants to talk about Hyper-V support. What did you do in the last weeks?
Hello. Let's say 1 week ago, Hyper-V had support for we built Flatcar images only for VHD. So basically, only generation 1 Hyper-V virtual machines. Support was added for building VHDX images that can be used for both generation 1 and generation 2 VMs. But the important part is that we can finally use, one can use generation 2 Hyper-V virtual machines. Those generation 2 machines are important because there are a lot more features, of a cleaner, let's say, approach of doing things, no more ID controllers and so on. Also, work was done to fix the ignition support for Hyper-V. And now basically everything ignition-wise, it's working. And also I've been doing a lot of tests to make sure it works fine. including the recent TPM and the security encryption, Lux encryption. It works as well on Hyper-V Generation 2 VMs. I have prepared a demo, a very short demo. Let me see if I can share my screen. Let's see if that will work. Okay. Hopefully you can see my screen right now.
Yes, it's GitHub.
Okay, perfect. So this is the documentation that will be soon available on the Flatcar website, along with the possibility to download the VHDX. So what I'm going to go through, it's using some, let's say, fairly advanced ignition metadata that will basically deploy, I'll create a Hyper-V Generation 2 VM, and with ignition, I will have auto login, TPM Lux 2 root partition encryption, and also setting the core user password. So basically, a few of the features that ignition provides. This is a live demo. Let me see if this works. Okay, going to do a clean VM. So I have here a ignition YAML.
So it's still the GitHub screen that we're seeing.
Oh,
if it's okay.
Let me see. Sorry for that. I shared all my okay. Okay. Let me share my entire screen. So I was at the ignition YAML file. So this is the auto login, the TPM, the Lux2 with TPM root partition encryption, and what we should see here. I have a small commandlet or set of commands to enable the TPM and to use a very small tool to insert the metadata in the Hyper-V host to guest channel. So here is my VM. I already applied the clean snapshot. So here you see the added key, ignition config 012. So the channel between the hypervisor, the Hyper-V hypervisor, and the guest relies on basically sort of registry keys that you cannot put more than a few kilobytes in there. So this is why it had to be split. The ignition YAML, or basically the ignition JSON, had to be split in three separate parts. And what we should see here at some moment, a crypt and roll service. Okay, let me see. We should see soon enough a reboot.
Why do we see a reboot?
We see a reboot because this is the advanced part of the ignition YAML that Kai created. For the PCR values. I think from what I understood, he wants to measure the PCR values with the next reboot. Let me see. So you can see here the root encrypted. So the SDA 9, it's encrypted. Let me see if I can remember. Yeah. And you can see also the PCR TPM2 hash PCRs 45789, which were basically set in this bind crypt and roll configuration from ignition. Yeah. Yeah, that's all I had prepared. If there are any questions.
Yeah, I didn't get it. Why we need to split the ignition JSON in three parts?
Yeah. So the ignition metadata is made available through the bus from that is basically the channel of communication between the hypervisor and the guest. But in one such, let's say, cell, you can put only a few kilobytes, I think, and basically the JSON looks like this. So yeah, it's
Okay.
more than one cell or registry key of sorts.
Okay. Thanks.
So yeah, it had to be split. Otherwise, you would have been very limited. I think basically something like this.
Okay. Someone has any question regarding this? Okay, thanks a lot, Adrian, for what you've been doing in the last days. And yeah, let's hear from the last topic of today before going to the release planning. So it's about Brightbox. Mike is on you, Ben.
Hi, I'm Ben from Brightbox. I just thought I'd start off with a quick introduction to what we do and then get on to why I'm here. So we are an infrastructure as a service hosting provider based in the UK. We were founded in 2007. We started off sort of specializing in Ruby on Rails hosting and built some tooling to make that easier and to make deploying highly available clusters straightforward. In 2010, we launched a more general purpose infrastructure as a service platform in Brightbox Cloud, which provides the usual stuff. We do cloud servers, cloud SQL, load balancing, object storage, block storage. We've got a container registry, that kind of thing. We have focused on sort of high availability, making sure that uptime's guaranteed, things like that. We've offered some advanced stuff, IPv6 support from the start, remappable cloud IPs. We sort of provide Kubernetes hosting and manage clusters on behalf of our customers, right from small scale stuff from 1 or 2 nodes up to much larger stuff, big Kubernetes clusters, etc. We've recently started providing official images for Flatcar after Matteo reached out and mentioned that you've done some work to integrate your CI to test builds on Brightbox. We were pretty interested in that. We've supported CoreOS before, CoreOS Container Linux before it became part of Fedora, so it was quite exciting for us to get involved in that. I thought I'd just run through a sort of fairly simple demo of getting a 3-node cluster up and running on Brightbox using our CLI. So just an XFTD cluster and then basic Nginx deployment and load balancer in front of that, so I can show how all that works. So if I can share my screen, I'll go ahead and start that. Okay, hopefully you can all see that.
So it's currently black screen on my end.
Is that working?
I don't know if Jeremy or Simon, you see also black screen?
I also
Yeah, I
just
can
see
see.
black.
Okay, can you not see the terminal prompts or anything? Okay, bear with me a minute. Let me try that again.
Have you tried turning it off and on again?
I'll try that just now. I did test this earlier before the call just to make sure it all worked.
Yeah, it's the demo effect as usual.
Right, let's try again. Is that any better, or can you just see a black screen again?
It's still a black screen.
Okay, bear with me. Let me just try another browser. I'll just switch browsers. I will be back in a second.
All right.
Sorry, bear with me another second.
I think your audio source changed now also. Oh.
Right, I'm just going to try sharing my whole screen again, see if that works.
All right.
Is that working any better?
Still black screen.
No.
Maybe what we can do, we can go with the release planning, and like Soben, you can try to fix your things, or
Yeah, sure.
is that okay for you?
Yeah, of course it's. Yeah, I'll keep trying.
Okay.
Sorry.
No worries, no worries. This is what we currently seeing each time working remotely. So, all right, Dongsu, do you want to take over with the release planning?
Okay. Okay, let me share my screen. Can you see it?
Yes.
Yes.
Perfect. Okay. We are going to do a release next week, so April 15th, and we are going to do that in all channels, including alpha, beta, stable, and LTS. And so, first of all, let me describe the situation with the executives backdoors. 2 weeks ago, there was a security incident in executives, which is pretty widely used, and so fortunately, Flatcar is not affected by that issue because the backdoor was included only in 5.6, and currently all channels of Flatcar have 5.4.6. So fortunately, we do not have to take care of that in theory. However, other distros like Upstream Gen 2, they already reverted further back to 542 to be able to extremely carefully get rid of the possibility of backdoors. So we are also going to follow that, and we are going to revert back to 542 in all channels, and we should also rebuild SDKs. That's the plan. And yeah, there are many packages to be updated, and yeah, that belongs to mostly your regular weekly updates. And another thing to mention is that we are going to update OpenSSH version to 9.6 P1. Its reason was that some users reported security issues in stable, and usually we do not update the version in stable rapidly. However, in this case, user reported that, and we decided to do that. So we backported the OpenSSH version updates to stable channel. And next one is ZRAM generator, new package, and Jeremy already worked on. Thank you. And yeah,
This was actually a community contribution. I just merged it, I think.
Yeah. Thank you. And also, Adrian worked on Hyper-V VHDX format issue. So yeah, thank you for that. That's it. Any question? Okay, stop sharing and back to Ben.
Yep, sure. Let me give this another go.
It will work. I know it will work.
Does that look any better?
No.
Ah.
Black screen.
Yeah, black screen. Maybe I can share my screen and show the Flatcar image and just quick deployment from the portal if it works with you, and you can comment over.
Yeah,
or I have one question, Ben. Are you sharing? Are you on Linux?
No, I'm using a Mac OS at the moment.
Oh, okay. Then none of what I could say would help. Sorry.
I seem to get the same thing in several browsers as well. That doesn't seem to make any difference. So I don't know if it's something wrong with the screen sharing thing.
Yeah. I also have a problem with Teams for sharing the screen on Mac.
Okay.
Sorry, this is. Oh, let me just try one more thing. I don't know what this will do. Has that made any difference?
No.
Sorry, this is really frustrating. I tried it out on Jitsi instance earlier and it works okay.
Computer says no.
No worry. Let's do the Mathieu thing, and we could go back to your example another time.
Yeah, I'd be happy to come and try again next time.
So yeah, Ben, if you want to comment a bit, so currently you should see the Brightbox portal, and
yeah. So this is our GUI control panel. We've also got a CLI tool that allows you to manage everything that you can from in here.
And yes, so now you can see the Flatcar images being available. So it's currently the LTS unstable, and if I recall correctly, the beta should come soon.
Yeah, the beta will be on its way shortly. And what we normally do with sort of non-production images, if you like, is make them public, but they're not marked official in the same way. So you can find them by searching, but they're not shown prominently in the image selection dialog when you build a new server.
Okay. So what we can do is to create a cloud server from now and try to feed some user data to see if it works. Oh, nice! There is even the logo. So let's go with a stable one. I'm going to take the standard size. I'm going to add a cloud IP and the user data. So this is ignition basically. So I think it should work. Okay, so this is a basic ignition file. Configuration. Let's save. And I hope we won't get the demo effect. Because, yeah, this is really live. So do you have a Kubernetes offer? Or
We do. We provide some Terraform manifests for building Kubernetes on Brightbox. If you wish to do that yourself, we provide a cloud controller which integrates Kubernetes with our API so that it's capable of managing resources on Brightbox. So there's integration with the autoscaler and with load balancing services, etc. And we also offer sort of a managed Kubernetes service where we will manage the underlying cluster infrastructure and basically provide access at the Kubernetes API level.
okay. So I'm just going to hijack the.
You're just gonna hack the
Yeah.
instance, the mainframe.
That should be all right.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, because by default there is no console access, but you can provide this with ignition, through ignition, but I just forget about it because I just use a basic ignition configuration. So if we want to get access from the console, we need to set the Flatcar auto login variable in the grub menu. Don't do this at home. So yeah, we are inside Flatcar instance inside Brightbox. So we should get our files being created here. So it means he has been successfully being able to fetch the ignition configuration and to do the things as usual.
Well, that's great. Thank you for stepping in.
Yeah, it's not as brilliant as the etcd clustering with 3 VMs, but yeah, it will come in a blog post, I assume. So
yeah, we've also got a guide which basically follows what I was going to go through on the call, just showing how to get started with butane and ignition with Brightbox, providing the ignition as user data, and then building a small cluster of nodes with etc.d and just a load balancer sat in front of those, using a quick example with Nginx just to serve up the instance IDs to demonstrate how load balancing and stuff works.
all right.
Look, I would be happy to come and do that again next month after I've more thoroughly did my screen sharing setup.
For sure, yeah. Looking forward to see that and to read that. All right, thanks a lot, Ben. I think it's almost already the end of the office hours. Do you folks have any question or any feedback regarding what you've seen, or any questions regarding the release planning or the agenda items?
I've got a question, Simon. I would love to hear what part of Flatcar DeepL and you are most interested in.
Oof.
Or what aspect of Flatcar?
I mean, I can tell you what drew us to Flatcar in a way, and that was basically the update management and the hope that just be easier to manage our fleet with the atomic update mechanism that image-based distros provide. I mean, there were some other motivations, but that was one of the main ones. I mean, security being another one. You've probably not heard that for the first time from me. So yeah. So one thing that I recently looked into a little more, and you mentioned that earlier, Jeremy, was how to best get the NVIDIA stack running on Flatcar nodes. So there's as you know, there's a variety of ways to do it. So far, we've done it all with the NVIDIA GPU operator. So we've disabled the Flatcar NVIDIA service and basically deployed it all through there, but that has a few disadvantages, including that there's no official driver container from NVIDIA, so we need to maintain our own fork, and it's all a little bit of a hassle and fragile. So started to look into whether we can at least use the Flatcar service to install the driver and then deploy the container runtime and other aspects with the GPU operator. But that's one of the things that we are currently thinking about a little more, because we do have a lot of GPUs and it's important that we get that right.
There's a tracking issue for that I've engaged with recently. So my plan, and I don't know if I can get this working by the next release, but I want to just integrate the container toolkit directly into Flatcar. And then I want to document how to deploy the GPU operator with like Flatcar provided drivers and Flatcar provided runtime. And that works fairly nicely. And then sysext will come afterwards and will provide several branches of drivers. But what I've heard from users is a lot of users want very fine granular control over driver versions. And so it won't be possible for us to build every driver version for every Flatcar going back as long as, people are still using those releases. But I would love to make it possible for users to self-host and self-build the sysext as well, hopefully somehow. So then the same mechanism, so you could use Flatcar provided sysext for, like, I don't know, GPU driver branch 540, 535, 470, I don't know which ones are currently active. And if you specify your own, source, it will try to fetch them from there. But I mean, there are some, like some edge cases, like what happens when if you're using auto updates, like you would need to provide sysext before the update will be allowed to complete, because it would want to pull it before rebooting. But yeah, cool. Nice to hear.
Yeah, that sounds great. And I just saw the issue on GitHub yesterday, I think. So yeah, if I can help with testing something, some early version of something, definitely
I will ping you.
let me know. Yeah.
Yep, perfect.
Great.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so yeah, let's conclude this meeting. As usual, you can reach us on Matrix or on Slack if you have any questions regarding Flatcar development, Flatcar testing, or whatever. And in case there is no other questions, I can say see you at the next DevSync meeting next month. All right, bye bye everyone.
Bye.
Bye.